Hey everybody, it's Kaladesh, and welcome back to another Flashback Premier Draft of Kaladesh Remastered, the original vehicle format. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. Pretty sweet pack here. There is one very solid colorless card. I do like to take those colorless cards really early as they can fit into almost any deck, although Inventor's Goggles is a little bit less flexible than most colorless cards. It really works well in a deck with a lot of the Artificers, mainly the Ether cards. So red, blue, and black are the ones with the little artificers there, so it's a little more restrictive than your average colorless card, so I don't think I'm as tied to just taking a good colorless card early here, so I will just go for the highest quality colored spell, which is Voltaic Brawler by a decent margin. This thing attacks as a 2-mana 4/3 trample, as long as you've got 1 energy to spend towards it, which is absurdly huge. And the green-red decks are a great aggro combination. Red has a bunch of great cheap creatures and a bunch of burn spells to clear a path, like Chandra's Revolution, and green really hits you up with the beef in this format at the top of your curve, so I do think green-red is a pretty great aggressive archetype for something like a 2-mana 4/3 trample. So we'll continue down that direction here with Chandra's Revolution as a great removal spell. Hunt the Weak is just less flexible. You have to have a creature on board. It's got to be big enough to survive the fight for this to be good. But Blossoming Defense is quite nice as well. 1 mana to counter any removal with your Hexproof trick, and also just 1 mana +2/+2. That's a solid combat trick as well. So Blossoming Defense good too, but I'm going to go for Revolution over it. Make sure I can blow up some stuff. Pick number 3, we've got a Welding Sparks here or a Chandra's Pyrohelix. Those are both pretty exceptional, but you know what they aren't? My favorite common in the format. Pick number 4, we've got a Sky Skiff. This is another fantastic colorless spell, solid card for pretty much any deck in the format. As a 2/3 flyer when you're getting into those long games, that chips in for a lot of good damage. The green-red cards here are really just kind of filler, just decent little red creatures or decent little combat tricks. So I'm not super high on that here. Inventor's Goggles, again, also really good. There are some Artificers in every color, but the main ones are the good Ether cards in red and blue. So it's a little more narrow than just the Skiff here. I like the Skiff towards being open here if red-green gets cut off, which it kind of was out of that pack. Pick 5, Prophetic Prism for fixing for any deck. Sky Skiff for the flyer for any deck. Or there's Veteran Motorist to get 1 card towards the Boros build. I think I'm just going to stay wildly open this draft because I haven't seen a ton of excellent Gruul follow-ups. Wow, Inventor's Goggles absolutely everywhere. Okay, I forgot about Sweatworks Brawler also being an Artificer. Yeah, you know what? Gruul could be a really good spot for Goggles too when you take that into consideration. Because Brawler is pretty nasty. I think I go Brawler over Lifecraft Cavalry here to stay deeper to one of my 2 colors so that we do have like a potential Boros or Izzet or Rakdos pivot, if that looks like the spot to be. I think, again, I'm still going to take it over Goggles. Less that I think Goggles is not that great or something, but just that I do think people tend to pass it really, really late so we can find it later. Pick 7. Okay, this pack's pretty bad for basically everybody, but I don't mind Shipwreck Moray in a blue-red energy deck. So that's moderately something. Puzzle Knot plays fine. Although Dawnfeather Eagle is an excellent way to top off your curve in Boros. Really, in any white deck, you just play a bunch of creatures out, have a wide board state, vigilance the whole board, and have an evasive threat to finish things off with. I actually like the Eagle here over the Puzzle Knot. Puzzle Knot is also one of those hidden colored spells. The Puzzle Knots aren't really colorless stuff, but you can splash them in off prisms and stuff since they do have an initial effect off of casting them without even sacrificing, but they all do have a colored sacrifice effect that you really, really want to be able to do. Pick 9, pretty easy Spire Patrol. Not super likely to be blue-white, but it's just the best card in there by a lot. Renegade Map is a fine spell you can play over your 17th land and use it as your Terramorphic or Evolving Wilds or whatever with a little bit of artifact synergy. But I don't personally like the card a ton, so I'm just going to go for the Night Marker Lookout, which is really good at crewing the Crew 1 vehicles like Sky Skiff and stuff, and then just draining your opponent out throughout the game. Pick 11, Pyrohelix, and we're happy to be red then. Built to Smash, pick 12, not bad either. Foundry Screecher is not very good, though. There's a lot of cards, as we've seen, like Chandra's Pyrohelix, as well as the Puzzle Knot, the Fireforger's Puzzle Knot, that just clear out those 1 toughness cards. Pick 13 Sky Skiff is incredible. It's not even a signal for anything because it's a completely colorless spell, but I'm happy with it, so I will take it. Pack 2, pick 1. Wildest Dreams is a fine, massive piece of graveyard recursion for a really slow, grindy green deck. I don't love it if we're going to be like really aggressive Gruul, and I like staying open here with our second color, and we can take the Chandra's Revolution and do that really easily. We're also high enough on artifacts. I could take a Glint Nest Crane as a really nice 2-for-1. 2 mana, 1/3 flyer plus draw an artifact potentially. If you draw an artifact off this card, it's incredible. If you don't, a 2 mana 1/3 flyer is still kind of a solid body in the format. This is probably the wrong pick, but in the interest of variety, I'm going to take another Revolution here because our last draft we played blue-red. So if I could end up in any other archetype than blue-red, so I can do something a little different here, I would like to. And there you go. We can be Boros because Aerial Responder is insane. 3 mana, 2/3 flying, Vigilance, Lifelink. Really hard to beat this card in a race because it's just chipping in and gaining life consistently and also being held up as a blocker to stop all of your 1/1 servos and 1/1 Thopters and stuff from getting past it, declaring any attacks to try to race. There's also a Revolution and a Hungry Flames, a Daring Demolition, a Sky Skiff. This pack is incredible, but I'm going to take Aerial Responder and maybe Boros is the path we want to take on this one. Pick number 3, well, these Boros cards are very mediocre. The red card's not great. We can take an Inventor's Goggles, although I don't remember any good white Artificers, and I only have the one Sweatworks Brawler right now. It works without Artificers. It does work without Artificers. You don't need them in your deck, but it is quite a bit better with them to get your first equip free. So I could like take a Seed Sculpture over that and still be open to Gruul with our Voltaic Brawler. I'll take the Goggles. It has played really, really well for me in the last deck, even when I was paying mana to move it around. Pick 4, another Night Market Lookout and a Daring Demolition. Maybe I'm still not quite Boros, and I actually take Demolition here towards Rakdos as a possibility. I could also take another Prism and be Boros Splash and Aspire Patrol. Maybe 2 if this one wheels. I doubt it does, but that would be a possibility. I mean, we're obviously definitely red. I like Daring Demolition the best here. I'm going to stay open really late here because we have a lot of quality artifacts that I think I can afford to do that. Another Chandra's Revolution. Well, and a lot of quality red spells, right, that make the cut no matter what. Subtle Strike's a really nice combat trick, but again, I'm 100% on red and not super confident on the second color still. Pick 6. Druid of the Kel's fine. Puzzle Knot's fine out of the red for just the main color here. Salivating Gremlin's fine off the red. I'm quite low on creatures. As filler as Gremlin's is, I might need to take it here to get a guaranteed creature no matter what colors I end up playing. There's another Self-Assembler, gotta take that over anything. The second Self-Assembler, super, super important. Although, if you see me draft the format enough, then you kind of know I basically take Self-Assembler over everything in the set. Regardless of which copy of Self-Assembler it is. Okay, we're Gruul. Second Voltaic Brawler, and I'm locked in. That's also a really late Thriving Rhino. This card is deceptively large in this format. 1 attack, and it's a 3/4. From then on, it's absurdly big for only 3 mana. So that card's also great. Okay. Yeah, we're grueling it up. Lifecraft Cavalry, sure. Give me some top, and I don't need Hunt the Weak. I got the red removal spells. I need creatures is what I need out of this last pack. There's no shot I'm playing any of this, so I don't think it matters. High Spire Artisan, perfectly playable creature. Cavalry, perfectly playable creature. Final pack. We open up a Seed Sculptor for a 2-drop. I do like having 2-drops, but Thriving Rhino I think is just really, really good, to the point where I'll take it over a creature that's better on the mana curve. We're actually not going to be the best Sky Skiff deck here. I don't really have 1/1 sitting around like most decks would. Here's another Gremlins, I guess. Pretty empty pack for us. Not the best Gremlins deck either without any Ether Chasers in here for our 2/1 first strikers that spit out servos. We are really missing on the quality 2-drop commons. We have the quality uncommons. Double Voltaic Brawler's nasty, but I gotta get the solid like Ether Chasers and stuff to go with them, and we just don't have them here, sadly. Okay. Riparian Tiger at the top of the curve. I've already got 4 5-drops. So I think I'm just taking Welding Sparks. I don't even think another Salvating Gremlins is particularly good here. So I'll take the Great Removal. Okay, Ether Torch Renegade is awesome. Gives us a bunch of energy towards our Thriving Rhino and Voltaic Brawler damage, but it's also a fine little pinger if we want to use it that way. All right. I mean, this is a deck right now. I can cut a Skiff and boom. 17 land deck. Still needs more 2-drop creatures, ideally. If I find any quality 2-drops by the end of this draft, this deck's going to be great. Cobra's not that quality, but I got to get my mana curve going, so I'm putting an Arnhem Cobra in here. I only have like 3 more packs that could possibly have a good 2-drop to play at this point. Yep, and there's none in here. There's not even a card I want to play in this deck, but I'll play Quicksmith Genius, I think, over Salivating Gremlins at least. Pick 7. No solid 2-drops. There's a little removal spell here, but Ridge Scale Tusker is great at the top of the curve. Put a +1/+1 counter on your whole board. Oh, wow. I forgot that was not pick 8. This is pick 8. We get a final one. So we have 4 2-mana creatures. That's lower than you'd want. Oh my god, there was a Seed Sculpt in the first pack. We have 5. That's perfect. That is perfect. 5, and I'm like, okay, we're good enough. It's like 5 to 7 for aggro decks. Ideally closer to 7, as close to 7 as you can get. But 5, and I'm feeling safe. Wow, that was a really lucky final pack. I'm, again, not the most into Goggles, actually, in this deck in the end. I'm going to go, like, really high curve with it and play the full 17 lands on this one. I think we're aggressive enough. I prefer Built to Smash to Ornamental Courage, but the Courage is also probably better than the Goggles, the Prism. Other Cavalry. Do I play that over Riparian Tiger? Probably not. I can't play all these 5s. I probably just cut like 2 Cavalries here. Keep the Tigers for some more energy top end. It's kind of nice. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm cutting 2 Cavalries here. Creature count's 18. That'll still be 16, which is pretty fine. Cut a 1 of Courage. Just the 2 tricks. Still good. All right. Solid little Gruul aggro deck here. Could have been a little stronger if we committed to it earlier over staying as open as we did, but I feel like there were a lot of packs there, especially very early in the draft, where the Gruul was very, very mediocre. So I think this draft went fine. Again, not perfectly decked. Certainly could have been stronger, but we got pretty lucky in the last pack, actually getting a bit of a mana curve for this deck and having a reasonable looking pile of cards. So we'll see how it all plays out for us as we head into the gameplay. Here we are, unfortunately on the draw for game 1. If they've got a good aggressive start, we're going to get steamrolled. But Chandra's Pyrohelix does a lot to help protect us, and unfortunately they're on blue-red. That has some of the best cheap creatures in the format, the Ether Chaser, the Ether Swooper, but they don't have any of those in hand. They start with Salivating Gremlins, which is out of reach of Pyrohelix, awkwardly. And we just got nothing still. Till our turn 4 Brawler. Bizarre Barge, alright, they're playing the long value game here. Hit for 4 with Gremlins. Draw into the 2-drop on turn 4, as you do. Here's Sweatworks Brawler and pass. Self-assembler, uh-oh. Hopefully they didn't get super lucky. I've done 3 drafts now. I have never been in a draft pod where I managed to get more than 2. If they have more than 2, we are super dead. In fact, we're probably just super dead already. I mean, they were on the play with a slightly better curve, nothing small enough for Pyro Helix. I'm already down to 7. Yeah, the Bizarre Barge for the great 2-for-1 there. They live in Christmas Land. They have at least 3 self-assemblers. That's exceptionally brutal. Again, I've done absolutely everything in my power. I have not once passed a self-assembler under any circumstances this time around. I've never had more than 2. All right, they got me. Better curve on the play with the triple self-assembler dream team. And we start things off 0-1, heading into game number 2. Here we are for game 2 on the draw again. This is a better early game hand. We start with Brawler, follow up with Gremlins. Reckless Fireweaver starts things off from our opponent. Not bad. 1-3 body means the Brawler plays really well here, holds them off of attacks. They do have the Pyro Helix for the Brawler, but we get to keep its energy around if we hit the other one, or a Pima thing or something. Ornithopter, that's a bold play. I would not recommend running Ornithopter. Let's drop Salivating Gremlins. Pass. Druid of the Cowl. They pass turn. Get a wide board for the Tusker here. We can go Artisan, hold up Ornamental Courage. Get the Gremlins trigger. Great attack for Gremlins here. They're down to 16. The reason I really don't recommend running Ornithopter is that, like, yes, it's a free card mana-wise, but no card is free in the card economy and, like, card advantage, to where the cost of, like, basically mulliganing being down a card to have your little 0/2 out is often more painful than the advantage you get from playing it for no mana. But there are some things you could try to do with it, like put counters on it or equipment and stuff, but you can do that with any other card that's also just bigger and more impactful. I don't have any good blocks here. We'll just stop 2 damage. Okay, Chandra's Revolution. Sadly not big enough to kill the Tusker. The Tusker is kind of the only issue I'm having here. I will have my own Tusker soon enough. So do I want to play the Sage to have more creatures out to buff? Kind of do. When all I could Revolution is kind of just the Druid of the Cowl here. Spireside Infiltrator, just a 3/2, sure. They pass turn. Miss the land, find the Brawler. Let's improvise and be suspicious. I'll just reveal an Ornamental Courage to our opponent, because it's worth holding up. Ether Torch Renegade, that needs to get revolutioned, or it's going to start pinging away my 2/1s and 1/1s and stuff. And I can't have that happening before I Tusker. Lock a green down, I guess. It doesn't matter. They have 3 of either, thanks to Druid of the Cowl. That also really needs to die, or it's going to be spitting out 5/5s every turn by itself. 6/6s, actually. So I'll kill that. Our Ridge Scale Tusker is going to be completely game-ending if they just don't play another Ovia Pashiri kind of bomb. I think we got this on lock eventually, whenever I get to the Tusker. But if they double bomb us, they double bomb us. I shouldn't open my mouth, really, honestly. They've got all the mana they need to just fire breathe over this Artisan, but if I get a counter there, a counter here, and have Ornamental Courage up, that is 3 power total, and I only need 3 power to kill the Skyship Stalker. Another counter puts Artisan to 5 toughness, Courage puts it to 8 toughness. So if I top deck a Forest, I can maybe deal with the Stalker before I die, but I need to top deck it immediately. Because I just need Artisan to be big enough that they don't have enough mana to make Stalker have as much power as its toughness and get first strike in the same turn, right? They need a red for first strike, and they need all the red to get up to 8 power. Currently, they can do a 9 power? No, a 7 power Skyship Stalker, or a 6 power first strike Skyship Stalker. So if I can Tusker plus Courage, that will kill the Stalker, but I need that Forest to do it. And we don't hit the Forest. If they top deck a Mountain, they can make Stalker 7 power plus first strike. So if they don't top deck a Mountain, I can still block Stalker, Ornamental Courage, and Pyro Helix it. But that Monstrous Onslaught was just another blowout. So I don't even know if that's going to be enough for me here. Because now I'm dying on the ground too. If they top deck a Mountain, I'm just going to concede. Because now I can't kill Skyship Stalker either. Oh, it's so frustrating. Like, I needed a Forest to have a really good shot at winning, and then it's like, no Forest for me. All right, well, as long as they don't hit the Mountain, we still kill it. Here's the Mountain for them. Just the way it's going today. Super bombed out game 2. That's 0-2 heading into game 3. Really don't think this deck is an 0-3 on average. This is not as good as our first 2 decks. This deck is very average. I did spend a lot of time not committing yet, and took a little bit of a hit in card quality for that because we didn't end up with enough good creatures by the end of this draft. But this deck is an average deck. This is like a 3-3-4-3 kind of deck. I would be pretty insulted if I got an 0-3, if that's just how things are really going to line up on me today. Draw a 2-drop turn 3 as always. But this game looks decent so far. If they don't have removal, Renegade's going to be really gross, so it forces removal out of their hand, and they do go ahead and shoot the Renegade. Poke for 2. Ooh, they're missing land drops. It's a good start. Spread some of the bad luck around. Maybe get a free win on this one. They did hit land 3 here. They would never make that attack without the trick, so I'm not blocking. Frontline Rebels to play. Sure, here's a 4-4. If the trick is Pyro Helix, a double block is still bad, so I'm going to attack with Brawler. And if the trick is Pyro Helix, Assembler on Rebel is fine. If it's anything else, it's just going to eat me no matter where I block. So I'm going to play as if it's Burn. to where blocking here is better. Because again, if it's like the +2/+2 or +3/+3 or whatever, Assembler dies and doesn't kill anything either way. If it's any burn spell, blocking Rebel, I kill the Rebel and then Assembler gets burned. Whereas blocking Ace is, I don't even kill the Ace because they first strike plus burn damage, so better to block the Ace. I cannot double creature hold up Courage here. If I want to hold up Courage, which I really do, I can only play one other spell, so let's just play Gremlins. I guess I could play Sage and then I'm holding up Courage or Welding Sparks. And Gremlins just has a better stat line here. Play the Gremlins, hold up on blocks here. We got a combat trick out of their hand, force them to have another one to make things go bad. You know what, honestly? I'm gonna play the Brawler too. I'm just gonna play to the board here. I'm not gonna play around them having just a million combat tricks in hand. Forced attack here, block with Brawler. Cool. No more tricks in hand for sure. Untethered Express is the play. That's an issue. I can block plus Ornamental Courage that. 5 power blocker on the 5/5. Sadly, we only have 2 self-assemblers, so we just shuffle for fun. If they have removal for the self-assembler, we are in a predicament. Because I don't have an opportunity to Welding Sparks the Express. If I don't play the self-assembler here, then when they crew the Express, it's a 4/4, and my Sparks only does 3 damage. But if I do play the self-assembler here to where my Sparks does do 4 damage, now that I have another artifact on board, I don't have the mana up for the Welding Sparks anyway. Okay, they've got 1 red mana. If that 1 red mana gives them Built to Smash, they win. And they wouldn't have attacked with Gear Shift Ace if their last card in hand was not Built to Smash for +3/+3 trample. Well, congrats on the win, I guess. Like, I can kill the Gear Shift Ace, but now the Express is just chilling and eating my soul. Again, it just times out to where like I'm doing 4 damage to the 5 Express because it gets the +1/+1 counters. Maybe I top deck a 3 mana or less artifact and we can kill it. That's the out. Pyro Helix actually to kill both of these would be pretty big. They'd have to top deck another creature. None of the mentioned cards are drawn, sadly. We just play a Rhino. I guess I am trying to double or triple block here. No more combat tricks, please. I pray. I beg. You know, 6-3 on the first draft. 7-2 on the second one. Wow. I guess it is time to get blown out. They just put it into the sky and jam in for 9. That is an 0-3 draft. No, it's not. I'm coming right back up. I'm not coming right back up because I'm in a very awkward position right now. But in terms of winning this game, I'm coming back up. Because, hold up, we're still in it. Get rid of flying at instant speed, only lose the 4/4. All I need to do is draw anything to kill their flyer, and we're actually in the lead now. Please. I do not want to attack with Gremlins here, because I want a blocker for the 1/1 that doesn't die. I'm tempted to hold off on Cobra for a Gremlins attack in the future with Trample. since they're at 10 here. But I mean, playing the Cobra also puts 2 extra power out to be attacking with in the future. So I mean, it's probably still best to just play Cobra there. But we're definitely not attacking with our only creature with more than 1 toughness. Ah! Well, that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.